So hi guys, I'm Luna. I am the owner and main instructor, well, one of the owners, but I am the main instructor of New Rebuild Yoga. So I came on today, thankfully, because my husband gave me a trigger. Yay! It wasn't so great on his part, but it doesn't matter. But yes, I came on to talk about triggers. The other day on Twitter, I was making a comment about a book that I had just finished reading, Yoke by Jasmine Stanley. Loved it, really need to read that. I highly recommend it. But in the book, there was one sentence that she stated that really triggered my mind. It really did. And what she stated was, better raped than dead. And boy, did that send me into a tizzy, okay? As some of you may know, as I freely have mentioned it before, I have been sexually assaulted numerous times when I was a child, and then again, as a married woman by a family member. So it really turned my world into a huge loop. And those words really did trigger me, because why should anyone, man, child, or woman, have to make that choice of, I'd rather be raped than dead? I don't know about you, but for a person that has been in that position, I've died a million deaths. My personality changed, my eating habits changed, my smile changed, my trust in human beings, my trust in men changed, my trust in my judgment changed, my trust in myself, my trust in my body changed. So trust died numerous times in several relationships in my life due to that sexual assault experiences. Now, where am I going after this? I have been diagnosed with PTSD. So for my fellow soldiers out there and fellow individuals that had suffered severe trauma experience, I hear you and I'm listening to you, and your voice matters. But I'm talking about my experience, and it may not be the same for everyone. But from my experience, learning that PTSD changes trauma, specifically, changes neurologically your brain. It physically changes your brain and how your brain processes things. So when triggers come around, the body is such an amazing thing that it acclimates, it adapts to numerous situations and remembers and builds in a program in the mind for responses. So whenever I feel a trigger, it can trigger certain responses out of my body and my stress nervous system. And of course, as a yoga instructor, I have learned numerous ways for helping me to calm down my triggers. And yoga, music, sometimes kickboxing, going back to my martial arts training, helps me to let anger out in a productive way, in a constructive way. Dancing helps me sometimes, crying helps me, eating, it all depends on what it is. But nonetheless, there are numerous tools out there that can help each and every individual with PTSD. So for those of you who are still looking for one, I hear you. I hope you find one soon. I hope we can all find a process for our traumas. But on Trigger, haha, I love that word. On Twitter the other day, I had a very, how do you say the Twitter debate? Tweet conflict? I don't know how you guys call it. I don't even know what to call it. I will call it a Twitter debate with an individual that basically his words were, you choose to suffer. So because you choose to suffer in your trigger, you haven't evolved yet. When you become evolved by like the philosophers say, you will no longer suffer. And wow, I truly oppose that, because what that tells me is that all your traumas, any trauma that you suffered in your life, whether from childhood trauma, emotional trauma, physical trauma, um, anything, you chose it. You chose that suffering. And if you still remember it, if you still remember that suffering and neurologically you're finding ways to protect yourself in this world, or, oh, wait a minute, that individual is about to do something and you remember it because it reminds you of what happened in the past and you are proactively trying to keep yourself out of situations, you chose it. You chose that suffering. And because you chose that suffering, it's up to you to say, I'm suffered no more. Ta-da! And yes, I told this individual that they are using studies about one thing and whitewashing another. I study a lot of philosophy as well. I study numerous people, and I don't even want to name them out because it's not really important. It's not significant. But for those of you who did see those Twitter debates and felt like I was attacking that individual or that individual, we were going back and forth, I'm sorry if I caused you a trigger as well. I'm sorry. I will own that. I will accept my responsibility in that and say it wasn't maybe the proper way of doing it. But I really wanted to educate this individual, not necessarily name call them or embarrass them or anything like that. It was more about educating that there are many philosophers out there and they are brilliant, absolutely brilliant. The human psyche, the human mind is it's a phenomenal thing, it's a phenomenal product. The human body never loses the ability to amaze me. I'm a personal trainer, certified personal trainer. I am a yoga instructor. I am hoping to become a yoga therapist one day. And with all the numerous things that I have seen in this world, the body never fails to amaze me. How adaptable, how ever-changing it is, and how it tries numerous times to get the human race to get the job done in no matter format it is, and how the mind can transfer and change the physical body as well. At this, it's just amazing. It's just amazingly beautiful, amazingly mysterious, and scary all at the same time. So I'm grateful that my husband kind of said certain words today that did trigger me, because it gave me the strength and it reminded me that I needed to do this video today and just explain to those that may not have these traumas. And don't get me wrong, you are lucky. I find your way of life very fortunate. If you do not understand trauma, if you do not have that comprehension, that understanding of sexual abuse, mental, physical abuse, emotional abuse, I am grateful. I'm truly grateful for you that you don't have that. I always say to individuals that share my experience that we are in a club we never wanted to be in. And it's painful. It's still painful to me. But for anyone to say that we chose that suffering, that our minds, our PTSD, the soldiers that went to war for us and viewed atrocious acts of humanity and had to go out there in the name of freedom and see things that they would have never saw if they didn't sign up for that. um, to say that war, that you who have experienced, you are a victim of war, you chose that suffering. I just think it's cold-hearted. It's very blind visioned, and it's very closed-minded. That's just my opinion. You may disagree with me, and it's okay. We can have a discussion. We can have a debate. I love discussions. Conversations like this helps us to grow as a human race. That's how I truly feel. But I wanted to come on and say that as a survivor of sexual assault, I don't believe that I chose to be sexually assaulted. I don't claim that. Now, me living my life, me teaching nude yoga and reclaiming my body, reclaiming my nudity, that is moving on with the acknowledgement that I survived that experience. That experience does not define me. That experience does not limit me, and that experience does not end my life. To say that I chose that suffering, it's still a pet peeve for me. That is just a trigger for me. So I have to honor that, and I hope you have that. I just hope you have patience with me when it comes to that. It is something that is a dagger in my heart when I hear that, because it just, oh caramba. In my opinion, it just sounds like you are stifling the voices of those who have been hurt. And their voices have already been stifled by the experience. We don't need your help with that. We don't, to be honest. We don't need your help with that. And that's why I'm here to be on this video. On another note, I try to surround myself with things that do make me happy, not to avoid my triggers, but to try to give me a better outlook on life. You know, that is another way of surviving. That is another way of, what is that word I'm trying to find? It's ruminating in my brain. And it's in Spanish, but I can't remember it in English. I'm trying to make this video very consistent. It's a goal. So it's una meta. So it's something that I look forward to by reminding that life can be good. Life is not all bad, because with my neurological changes in my mind, my negative experiences, even though they could be minor, can multiply by 10 because of my experiences. So I try my best to look forward to the good and to remind myself that life can be beautiful, that life is musical and pretty. It's just and it can be very sweet at the same time. So I'm a huge BTS fan because of that. When I hear their music, it's so uplifting, it's so positive, it's so, for me, it's another world. It's just another world. And I love music in general. I do, I love music in general. But why am I mentioning BTS? Okay, yesterday I was teaching a class, a yoga class, and I just so happened to have my Map of the Soul persona t-shirt, and it has a big, big heart on it, which I totally adore, I totally love. I try to embody the love I wish to always feel for myself and for others. It just helps my life better. That's one of my tools, okay? And it really saddened me yesterday that as I was wearing the shirt, one of my clients asked me, who's that? Your shirt's amazing. I love the wording. And I went to proceed and told them that it's just an album. It's the name of the album of one of my favorite bands, because I have many. I love many bands. And they just fill my heart up with love and remind me that the world needs love so much, and that if I can just do my part, just a little bit, my part, each and every day, the world can be a better place, just a little bit, okay? And she never heard the band, so I played their most recent song, which is Permission to Dance. Love it. Love the fact that they use ASL dancing. My son, who's deaf, if you guys know, I really try to work on my ASL a lot, as you see here. So that also gave me a big love and affection. And sadly, she said, I think I'm a little bit too jaded to be happy like that. Thank you for showing it to me, and thank you for educating me. But I think the world is a little bit too hateful right now to even appreciate that. But keep trying. And that made me sad. But at least I had my goal again. It ties it in. Although I have triggers, my goal is to try to show others the love, the understanding, and the support and the encouragement that I did not feel during those times when I was suffering from the effects of sexual assault, from the mental battle I was having in my head of wanting to die instead of living and reliving the experience in my head every single day. It still brings tears to my eyes, just remembering that pain. And for someone to be out there and say, I chose that pain, I chose to relive it. I don't know if I can ever say that to my clients who were former soldiers, who came to me on their knees, trying to find a tool to get out of their head. I can never say that to them. Oh, you chose this experience. You chose that suffering. No. Like I said, it just means that you just stifled their voice, voice. You stifled it. You turned it off, and you told them it doesn't even matter. Their experience doesn't matter. It's worthless. And I understand it's very difficult to put yourself in someone's shoes when you've never experienced it. But I do not wish for you to experience trauma, pain, confusion, a distastefulness for your body just for you to understand what we are going through. I don't wish that on anyone. That's not something that we should be doing. Let's just try to be a little bit more compassionate. Let's just try to be a little bit more understanding, just a little. All we can do is try to do better every single day. That's all. That's all we can do. So try to do better every single day. Accept yourself for who you are. Love yourself for who you are right now. Just right now, right here. And if you make a mistake, it's okay. Don't beat yourself up over it. Do better again. That's all we can do. Everyone is suffering from something, whether it's poverty, whether it's lack of education, whether it's ignorance, whether it's being hungry, not feeling appreciated at work. But some of us have some deep traumas that we have to live with for the rest of our lives. So let's just try to be a little understanding. And let's choose our words better. And let's be a better race. And maybe look forward to a better day. Just that's all we can do. So I love you all. Much love to you all. Stay safe. Stay healthy. Signing out for now. Have a good day.